Adieu, sweet, lovely Nancy, 10,000 times adieu. I'm going across the ocean, love, to seek for something new. Come change your ring with me, dear girl, come change your ring with me, that it might be a token of true love when I am out at sea. And when I am far out at sea, you'll know not where I am. Kind letters I will write to you from every foreign land, the secrets of my mind, dear girl, and the best of my goodwill. So let your body be where it might, my heart will be with you still. There's a heavy storm arising, see how it gathers round, while we poor souls on the ocean tide go fighting for the crown. There's nothing to protect us, love, nor keep us from the cold. On the ocean wide where we must bide, like jolly seamen bold. There's tinkers, tailors, shoemakers lie snoring fast asleep, while we poor souls on the ocean wide go ploughing through the deep. Our officers commanded us, it's them we must obey, expecting every moment for to get cast away. But when the wars are over, there'll be peace on every shore. We'll return to our wives and our families and the girls that we adore. We'll call for liquor merrily, we'll spend our money free. And when our money is all gone, we'll boldly go to sea.
Hello and welcome to Aggiefest 2021. We're here tonight to celebrate and raise awareness of the life and works of Dame Agnes Weston. My name's John Bentley, you can call me Johnny Bluebeard, and I'll be your host for the evening. Now Aggie, as she's fondly known, was a Victorian philanthropist who developed a range of initiatives to help and to support sailors and their families. The charity that bears her name is based in Portsmouth and continues her work through to today. Aggie was born on March the 26th, 1840, so today would have been her birthday. And to celebrate her life and works, we have a great programme of entertainment lined up for you. Now essentially it's an evening of music and memories. The music being folk songs about the seafaring life, and the memories being the recollections of just a few of those Isle of Wight people that have had direct involvement with the Aggies charity. Now, before cracking on with things, I must first thank the person behind it all, the wonderful Maureen Forster. It's been Maureen's enthusiasm and energy that started the festival in 2019 and developed the idea of an online event this year. Now obviously, had it not been for COVID, we would have been doing this in and around Monkton Street in Ryde, but with lockdown still in place, we've had to go online. One advantage of this, of course, is that you can all sit on the sofa in your pyjamas. No need to dress up to go out. Now, we're very fortunate to have with us Chris New, the Chief Executive of the Aggie Weston charity. Chris is going to kick things off with an overview of Aggie's life and how she began her good works.
Hello, my name is Chris New and I'm the CEO of Dame Agnes Weston's Royal Charity for the Naval Service, more commonly known as Aggies. Our founder would have been absolutely thrilled to have been associated with this festival. She was an accomplished musician who gave recitals and put on concerts for the sailors of the Victorian Royal Navy. So, who was Aggie and what did she do? In 1868, she was a spinster and a Sunday school teacher in Bath, with absolutely no connection to the Royal Navy. She agreed to write letters to some Somerset soldiers who were deploying and had no literate family members to correspond with. One of these soldiers deployed to India in the Royal Navy troopship HMS Crocodile. As he was reading his letter, one of the ship's company spotted him reading it, got talking and asked if Aggie would write to him too. Of course, Aggie said yes. More sailors then had the same request, and again Aggie said yes. The number of pen pals increased in tens, hundreds, thousands. Eventually, Aggie had to move to a mass-produced format for her letters. By the time of her death, she was writing to over 750,000 people every month. In 1874, a group of naval pen pals invited Aggie down to Devonport because they wanted to meet her. If you have visited HMS Warrior in Portsmouth, you will appreciate what life would have been like on warships of this period. Sleeping accommodation was hammocks, suspended between the guns on the gun deck, which would have been cold, draughty, damp and smelly. If sailors were given night leave, they would often look for a dry bed ashore, generally in one of Devonport's pubs. Beer flowed in these establishments. The results, not surprisingly, included hangovers and liver damage. And so a group of sailors from HMS Dryad asked Aggie to open a pub without beer. They wanted to be able to enjoy a night ashore without the hangover the next morning. Aggie, motivated by her Christian faith, decided to commit her whole life to serving Royal Navy sailors. And so, on the 8th of May 1876, the Devonport Sailors' Rest opened its doors, to be followed on the 13th of June 1881 by the Portsmouth Sailors' Rest. By the time of Aggie's death, each rest had over 700 rooms, but regularly surged to over 1,000 sailors per night through the use of camp beds. The rests laid on concerts, church services and entertainment. They served 3 meals a day in their dining hall, had reading rooms, bathrooms and employed pastoral workers. Queen Victoria was a visitor to the Portsmouth Rest, donated a room and became a close friend and supporter of Aggie, hence the link to Osborne House and the Isle of Wight. This, together with her lifelong commitment to musical performance, make her the ideal person to be associated with this music festival. If you would like to learn more about the history of Aggies, do search online under Aggie Westerns. Later on in this festival, I will share a little bit about what the charity does now. Until then, I hope you enjoy the wonderful music coming your way.
Thanks, Chris. Now, as Chris mentioned, you can find out more about the work of the Aggie Western charity on their website, www.aggies, that's A-G-G-I-E-S, aggies.org.uk. Now, Aggies is dedicated to supporting those serving in the Royal Navy, the Royal Marines and the Royal Fleet Auxiliary and their families. Now, if you would like to make a donation to them, please go to the website and simply click on the donate button at the top of the home page. Very simple, and every penny will be put to good use. So let's get the celebration started. Now, to kick things off for us, we have some songs from Steve and Julie Wigley from Derbyshire, followed by some memories of Aggies from Helen Walker and from Alan Cox, and then some more music from John Hacker. So please sit back, relax and enjoy Aggie Fest 2021.
Hi everybody, lovely to be with you. We're Steve and Julie Wigley from Derbyshire, and Julie writes our songs, so we're going to do you a little cross section of some of her songs in this set. And we'll begin with a song for a sailor who's made his final voyage and knows he'll be going to sea no more. It's called Home and Dry. 1, 2, 3.
and his Polly on the shore. They say old soldiers never die, but the light goes out of a sailor's eye when he's home and dry, and his voyage is o'er. It's a measure of grog he cradles as he spins his watery tale of canvas torn off the wild Cape Horn and the singing of the whale. They say old soldiers never die, but the light goes out of a sailor's eye when he's home and dry. Still the ocean prevails, like a slave ensnared by the bold corsairs from the coast of Barbary. Now unseen fetters bind him, and he fails to shake them free, condemned to terra firma, while his thoughts are all at sea. To be outbound on a flowing tide with the ship's old company, the tangled lime and the salt sea ride, and the colours flying free. They say old soldiers never die, but the light goes out of a sailor's eye when he's home and dry and lost for all liberty. They say old soldiers never die, but the light goes out of a sailor's eye when he's home and dry and lost for all liberty. Home and dry and lost for all liberty.
The next song is going to be a sea story again, and a bit of a ghost story. It's the story of Admiral George Tryon, who in 1893 was leading some of our ships in the Mediterranean, and he gave orders which caused a collision, and his own ship was lost, and he lost his life along with many of his crew. But that same night, his wife Clementina was holding a dinner party in London, and many of the guests swore that they saw the Admiral come down the staircase in his best dress uniform. Clementina's Lament.
She was swallowed up by the sea with 357 crew, and her admiral was lost to me. Yet still some swear here in Eaton Square he descended the stairs that night in full uniform. He had passed them by room to room and clear out of sight. Double walker, double ganger, taking a final walk ashore, alter ego, rave, or harbinger, here and gone. Double walker, double ganger, taking a final walk ashore, alter ego, rave, or harbinger, here and gone, gone forevermore.
This last song that we're going to do is one of Steve's songs. I just had to write the tune for it, but he'll tell you about it anyway.
It's the story of one of the ships of Nelson's Navy. She's called HMS Bellerophon, but the crew found that hard work, so they nicknamed her the Billy Ruffian, and she served with distinction throughout the Napoleonic Wars, including at the Battle of the Nile and Trafalgar. But she became well known as the ship which brought Bonaparte back to England after his defeat at Waterloo, the Billy Ruffian. She was born in the year 1782 at Finsbury Town with a Medway in view. Thomas Slade was the draftsman who gave her those lines. Edward Greaves was the man who would build her, and 3,000 dogs would bring her to life. Billy Ruffian, the name that they gave her. With a keel-laid of elm on the slope of the slip, the sheer legs and scaffold poles cradled the ship, and their 200 craftsmen sweated in toil, with axe, sword, and auger to shake her. And from those bare bones rose the ship of the line, Billy Ruffian, the name that they gave her. From the Channel's grey seas to the blue of the bay, from the Chesapeake clear across the Dover, Billy Ruffian for a pony wherever he ran. Then name became known the world over. In an October gale she slid down to the tide, to be coppered and rigged, then to Chatham she'd ride, and to sea in the Channel to wait for the call, till such time that a country would need her. When over in France they toppled their king, Billy Ruffian, the name that they gave her. 'Twas the glorious first in June '94 that her enemies first heard their batteries roar, and for 3 days she fought under Admiral Howe, and there the first captain folded. But she brought him home safe to the cheers of the crowd, Billy Ruffian, the name that they gave her. From the Channel's grey seas to the blue of the
Billy Ruffian for Bobby wherever he went. Her name became known all over. And when Bonaparte sailed for the lands of the Nile, and Nelson's fleet followed him mile upon mile, Billy Ruffian stood proud in her place in the line, and fought through that night for glory. Yes, glory she lay till the masts were all gone. Billy Ruffian, the name that they gave her. Finally off Cape Trafalgar she helped end the dreams of the Corsican tyrant and all of his schemes. When the Battle of Waterloo ended the war, she brought him a prisoner to England, and the victory won, so the duty was done. Billy Ruffian, the name that they gave her. From the Channel's grey seas to the blue of the land, from the Chesapeake to across the Dover, Billy Ruffian for Bobby wherever he went. Her name became known all over. From the Channel's grey seas to the blue of the land, from the Chesapeake to across the Dover, Billy Ruffian for Bobby wherever he went.
Helen Walker joined the Wrens in 1979. She was out shopping and stopped outside the forces recruitment office and thought her big brother and his friends were having such good fun and a career. So she went in, signed up and stayed in the Wrens for 5 years. This picture was probably taken summer 79. The Wrens training ship was landlocked, HMS Dauntless in Reading, and they were not expected to go to sea in those days. She said it was a good job because she would have got dreadfully seasick. After training, Helen was posted to Farslane and was curious about the local Aggie Westerns, so took herself off there. She was made very welcome by Jean and John Howarth, and it was there that she met her future husband Stuart. They've now been married 39 years. While still single, they often visited Gully Bridge and enjoyed the homely atmosphere. Sunday afternoon tea was always great fun, and Helen was allowed to take over the kitchen and bake on a regular basis. Her leaning towers of Black Forest Gâteau were always popular. Also, when she and Stuart got married, there was a surprise from Aggies, who turned out and had arranged a horse and carriage ride from the church to the reception. This caused quite a stir, and they even got friendly waves from the protesters outside the camp.
Hello everyone, my name is Alan Cox, and this is my memory of Aggie Westerns, or Aggies as we used to call it. I joined the Navy in 1968 as an underwater controller, which was a posh name for a sonar operator. I was just 15 years old. By 1969 I was in Singapore on a frigate called HMS Euryalus, and we were in Singapore dockyard for repair and maintenance after an epic voyage via Gibraltar, St Helena, South Africa, Mombasa and patrolling off of Rhodesia, which is now called Zimbabwe. Sailors in the 60s were quite low paid, so we used to go to Aggies in the dockyard where we could get a cup of tea and cake, or nutty. Nutty is a naval slang for sweets. We could spend all of our days off in Aggies, swimming, sunbathing and just chilling out. The pool was the best memory for me because as in the tropics it was very, very hot and humid and you really need to cool down. They had a diving board there and I remember trying to do a handstand dive off the top, and the fact that I'm recording this shows I made it. Aggies has establishments in almost every naval port in them days, and you could be sure of a welcome and a cheap meal or a place to stay whatever state you got in. So thank you Aggies for looking after me and all the work you continue to do.
South Australia I was born, heave away, haul away. In South Australia round Cape Horn, I'm bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings, heave away, haul away. Haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. I went out one morning fair, heave away, haul away. It's there I met Miss Nancy Blair, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings, heave away, haul away, haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. I took her up, I took her down, heave away, haul away. I took her all around this town, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings, heave away, haul away, haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. Well, there's one thing left upon my mind, and that's leaving Nancy Blair behind. But as we walk around Cape Horn, heave away, haul away, you wish to God you'd never been born. We're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings, heave away, haul away, haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. In South Australia I was born, heave away, haul away. In South Australia round Cape Horn, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings, heave away, haul away, haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings, heave away, haul away, haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. We're leaving here tomorrow, Johnny. One more day. Can you leave her without sorrow, Johnny? One more day. It's one more day, my Johnny. One more day. Oh, come rock and roll me over, Johnny. One more day. Now's the time to leave her, Johnny. One more day. Did you swear you'd not deceive her, Johnny? One more day. It's one more day, my Johnny. One more day. Oh, come rock and roll me over, Johnny. One more day. Should she ever doubt you, Johnny, one more day, she would break her heart without you, Johnny. One more day. It's one more day, my Johnny. One more day. Oh, come rock and roll me over, Johnny. One more day. Come and roll me to my lover, Johnny. One more day, and the stars will be our cover, Johnny. One more day. It's one more day, my Johnny. One more day. Oh, come rock and roll me over, Johnny. One more day. It's one more one more day. Oh, come rock and roll me over, Johnny, one more day. I'm sitting here with my back to the weather, heave away, haul away, thinking of times that are gone forever, heave away, haul away. Playing with my friends in the fields and copses, heave away, haul away, places are lost under streets and houses, heave away, haul away. We build our camps, build our fires, heave away, haul away, and on those meadows we'd fly our gliders, heave away, haul away. 63 in a snowy winter, heave away, haul away, we'd cross the marsh on the frozen water, heave away, haul away. Days gone, gone like lightning, days gone, sail away, days gone, gone like lightning, days gone, sail away, days gone, gone like lightning, days gone, sail away, days gone, gone like lightning, days gone, sail away. With my little black dog I'd walk the hedgerows, heave away, haul away, where the thrush's song from the thorns would echo, heave away, haul away. Blazing days in the summer sunshine, heave away, haul away, down in the bay with the nets and handlines, heave away, haul away. Fishing with my dad in a road stem dinghy, heave away, haul away, I never really cared if it was calm or windy, heave away, haul away. Cruising with my brother in the creeks and estuaries, heave away, haul away, days full of lasting memories, heave away, haul away. Days gone, gone like lightning, days gone, sail away, days gone, gone like lightning, days gone, sail away, days gone, gone like lightning, days gone, sail away, days gone, gone like lightning, days gone, sail away.
What a wonderful start to our celebrations. Thank you. That's Steve and Julie Wigley and John Hacker for their singing, and Helen and Alan for their recollections of Aggies. Now in our next section we have some memories of the very first Aggie Fest that Maureen Forster began in 2019. We also have local ride resident Barry Akons, ex-Royal Navy, reading a poem about Aggie that was especially written by Mel Dixon. Following that, we have some recollections of that first Aggie Fest from Dawn and Jenna, who run the Monkton Street Arts Cafe. And finally, to round off this section, we have some great sea shanties from the Silver Darlings.
Well, what a fantastic event Aggie Fest 2019 was. We're going way back in October 2018 with Aggie's Band of Hope walking and singing from the pavilion to Ride Inshore Rescue, the old barracks at Pappool, and finally the lounge in Monkton Street. And then in March 2019 there was the fantastic children's treasure hunt with Captain Nash, all starting at the captain's table. At the Lounge Cafe in Monkton Street, Barry Acorns, ex-Royal Navy, read the Aggie Weston poem by Melanie Dixon. Ride Social History Group did a reenactment with local characters from Monckton Street, along with an exhibition in Ride Library of the history of Monckton Street. 3 authors, John Hannam, Mandy Bedsit and Michael Lilly, spoke about their work and did book signings. At the Solent Inn, we were treated to some fantastic entertainment with a poem read by John Crawford and music from Gwyth, Llantyvar, the Rug Band and Just Julian. On a gloriously sunny day, Gwyth Morris had their first dance out of 2019 on Ride Seafront. The festival ended with a fantastic concert from Jim Causley at Ride Baptist Church in George Street. Many thanks to all who took part in Aggiefest 2019 and to the Lounge, the Solent Inn and the Ride Baptist Church for hosting the event.
That we've got a commemorative day here today for this wonderful lady who did so much for sailors in her time. This poem has been specially written and it's called Aggie Weston, the Sailor's Friend. The mother of the Navy was a pen pal at the start. Homesick soldiers needing friendship quickly took her to their heart. Aggie Weston wrote to many, but soon it was too much. So ashore and afloat became the note to help them keep in touch. Sailors based in Devonport needed drink-free R&R, a place to stay and meet with friends that wasn't just a bar. So Aggie found a place to go, a house for sailors' rest, a safe and drink-free venue which proved to be the best. Sophia, Vince and Aggie became the perfect team. Establishing more sailors' rest became their lifelong dream. A sanctuary for those on leave, supporting families too. The Sailors' Rest, a place of peace for officers and crew. Committed to her mission, teaching abstinence from drink, Aggie pledged her mariners, saving families from the brink. With tickets sold for transport home, not spent outside the gate, seafarers headed home on leave, and their families did not wait. Aggie was a leader, seeking out the next great thing, offering Christian love to all, home comforts she would bring. Soon Queen Victoria became a fan, Aggie made a dame. The Royal Sailors' Rest became the legacy's full name. Aggie's story is inspiring, her vision thrives today. The focus now on pastoral care, all people's their way. A friendly face to listen, advice and comfort shared, encouragement for those who need when feeling lost or scared. The mother of the Navy with her heart so full of love still watches over sailors and their families from above. How proud she would be knowing that her charity survives and makes a difference to this day to so many lives.
Well done. So this is what we wore 2 years ago, and we should not be drinking Prosecco because Aggie Weston would not approve, but we do have tea and cakes, we've just chosen it.
I've got the jacket on that Maureen and Alan found me in a charity shop for the day 2 years ago when we celebrated Aggie Weston. Before Maureen came in to see us, we didn't have a clue who Aggie Weston was, did we? We had no idea who Aggie Weston was.
But we soon made sure that everyone in Monckton Village knew who she was. And before we knew it, she was bringing everyone together. So plans for the Aggiefest 2 years ago. I think the lineup was Maureen was doing a walk with other people around the town, and she was going to sing lots and lots, and she'd been all over the place.
By the time she got back to our cafe, she'd lost her voice.
So everyone else had to sing for her. and lead it. And it was the first time we'd met Trish.
First time I met Trisha, she was dressed as a prostitute. And the worst thing is, the next day, outside the cafe, she was stood on the corner. So I was beginning to think she was a real prostitute.
She's now a really good friend.
She's now a really good friend. And I know she's not a prostitute. Because Aggie Weston saved her.
It was all down to Aggiefest. What would Trish be without Aggiefest?
Only joking, Trish, honestly.
Then there was a book signing. We had John Hanneman and was she called Mandy? Somebody? Mandy Bedsit. And didn't we have someone else?
We did.
We'll remember that in a minute. And so people came and they taught the authors spoke about themselves, and then people could get the book signed. And
then we had the reenactment.
And then that was brilliant.
That was so exciting.
So the History Society of Ryde came to the lounge, and they were all dressed up in different periods. Oh, the best one was that lady that she kept taking her clothes off. And hiring up her skirt.
Aggie Weston
going
not
through.
have approved.
No, but she did. She kept hoiking her skirt up for the different eras, didn't she?
Did.
So she started at like 17 something, very long, and then as the eras went on, more clothes and different shawls came on, different hats, and she kept changing with the eras.
Very good.
What story do you remember?
About the bear, was it? What was the animal?
That was the bear. So they told a story about people that lived in Ryde, and one of them was the vet to the Queen, wasn't it? I think it was Rink Road.
Yes, it was on Rink Road.
And it was the story of the daughter of the vet. When she was a little girl, she remembers her dad taking the teeth out to make the bear safe. And then she was allowed to go and feed the bear a raw egg so that it could soothe its gums, and she remembers it rocking its...
Obviously wouldn't be allowed now.
No, the Queen would not do that. But and we were all
dressed up. It was a lovely day. We had the cafe full. Everybody listening to the stories back in history.
And there was original... I remember there was a letter from Aggie Weston that was in her handwriting.
Yes.
That was very special. And books about her. And we just told everyone that came in about Aggie Weston. So we were spreading the news of Aggie Weston. You know, she's a good, powerful woman. Is that all we have to say?
Yes, I think so.
The things that Maureen gets us doing.
We love her for it.
We do.
There was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy of Tea. The wind blew up her bow, dip down, oh blow, my bully boys blow. Ho! Soon may the wellerman come and bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow.
Huh! Soon may the wellerman come and bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
Before that boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. All hands to the side, harpooned and fought her. We took that whale in tow.
Ho! Soon may the wellerman come and bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
A line was dropped all in pursuit. She raised her tail, a last salute. But the harpoon lodged, there's no dispute, and she dived down below.
Huh! Soon may the wellerman come and bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. For 6 long days and 6 long nights she drove us south with all her might, till we were too tired to fight, and then we let her go.
Yeah! Soon may the wellerman come and bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
The
line was cut, the whale was freed, the captain's mind was not of greed, for he belonged to the sailor's creed. And he let that whale go. Yeah! Soon may the wellerman come and bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the wellerman come and bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Woo!
C'est un fantasma fa comme un oiseau. Iseo Santiano. 1800 ans, je suis fier d'y être matelot. Tiens bon le vague et tiens bon le vent. Iseo Santiano. Si je veux, je dois devant. Nous irons jusqu'à San Francisco.
It's many a month since I left my home. Iseo Santiano. It's heart kept warm by my sweet Margot, and dreams of life in San Malo.
Tiens bon le vague et tiens bon le vent. Iseo Santiano. Si je veux, je dois devant. Nous irons jusqu'à San Francisco.
It's said that in those lands so much money flows. Iseo Santiano. Glistening jewels at the bottom of streams and glittering gold for all to see.
Tiens bon le vague et tiens bon le vent.
Iseo Santiano.
Si je veux, je dois devant. Nous irons jusqu'à San Francisco.
To her I'll return with a rich cargo. Iseo Santiano.
To the land I love and the home I know, with a sparkling ring for sweet Margot.
Tiens bon le cap et tiens bon le flot. Iseo Santiano. Sur la mer qui fait le gros dos, nous irons jusqu'à San Francisco. Tiens bon le cap et tiens bon le flot. Iseo Santiano. Sur la mer qui fait le gros dos, nous irons jusqu'à San Francisco.
Now we are ready to head for the Horn.
Way, hey, roll and go.
Our boots and our clothes, boys, are all in the pawn.
City rollicking randy dandy o. Heave a ball and heave away. Way, hey, roll and go. The anchors on board and the cables all stored. To be rollicking randy dandy o.
Oh man, the south capstan and heave with a will.
Way, hey, roll and go.
Soon we'll be driving her way down the hill.
To be rollicking randy dandy o. Heave a ball and heave away. Way, hey, roll and go. The anchors on board, the cables all stored, to be rollicking randy-dandy-o.
Soon we'll be warping her out through the locks.
Way, hey, roll and go,
where the pretty young girls all come down in their frocks,
to be rollicking randy-dandy-o. Heave aboard and heave away, way, hey, roll and go, the anchors on board, the cables all stored, to be rollicking randy-dandy-o.
Heave away, bullies, you parish-rigged bums.
Way, hey, roll and go.
Take your hands from your pockets and don't suck your thumbs.
To be rollicking randy-dandy-o. Heave aboard and heave away. Way, hey, roll and go. The anchors on board, the cables all stored. To be rollicking randy-dandy-o.
We're outward bound for Vallejo Bay.
Way, hey, roll and go.
Get cracking, me lads, 'tis a hell of a way.
To be rollicking randy-dandy-o. Heave aboard and heave away. Way, hey, roll and go. The anchors on board, the cables all stored. To be rollicking randy-dandy-o. Heave aboard and heave away. Way, hey, roll and go. The anchors on board, the cables all stored. To be rollicking randy-dandy-o.
Thanks, that's Barry Akons, Dawn and Jenna and the Silver Darlings. Now, I hope you're all enjoying our online Aggie Fest. I'm sure you are. Now, in this next section, we're going back to Chris New, the Chief Executive of Aggie Weston Charity. Chris is going to tell us about the work of the Modern Day Charity and the services they provide for sailors and their families. After that, we'll hear a couple of songs from Jim Causley and Shep Woolley. Jim will sing a song called The Song of the Dying Gunner. This was originally a poem by Charles Causley from Cornwall, who served in the Navy in the Second World War. And the poem refers to Aggie Weston in the last verse. Shep Woolley, who also served in the Navy, will then sing a well-known sea shanty. Now, this was originally recorded at a Trafalgar Day event in Portsmouth back in 2018. And we'll then have a couple of poems from Maureen Forster. But for now, I'll hand you over to Chris.
I hope you're enjoying the festival so far. Earlier, I talked about the background to Aggie Weston's Royal Charity. Aggie was a role model in Victorian society. She accepted, respected and valued everyone. She was full of joy, love, patience, tolerance and generosity. She put the needs of others before her own. She was a close friend of Queen Victoria, but was equally happy taking in drunk sailors off the street, giving them a good bed for the night and a decent meal. I hope you agree that her values remain relevant and desirable today. And we try to reflect them in all that we do, meeting the needs of the naval community through three principal means. Firstly, we provide pastoral support to serving members of the Royal Navy, Royal Marines and Royal Fleet Auxiliary. We provide coffee shops within establishments where we can listen to people, advise, signpost and encourage. Secondly, we run a project called Storybook Waves. Serving personnel who are going to be away from home can record a bedtime story for their children, which is then edited with sound effects by our volunteer editors. The sound recording, together with a copy of the book, is then presented to the child or children. Thirdly, we have community support workers who work amongst the families of our serving people. This has been particularly important over the last 12 months, when service personnel have continued to deploy and the strain on service families left behind has been that much greater because of COVID. The following video explains pretty well what we do. It is a bit dated It includes my predecessor, but it tells the story.
This is Aggie Weston, a philanthropist who founded the charity in 1876. She set up coffee bars and rest homes for sailors and their families and was made a Dame of the British Empire as a result. 140 years later, the charity named after her is still running coffee bars like this one. Here at HMS Collingwood in Fareham, it's Bacon Butty Tuesday. It's one of the services provided by Aggies as part of its pastoral outreach care. The sandwiches cost £1, which goes to charity, and it brings the customers into the coffee bar for some time out.
Having a break from class, they were coming down to provide money for charity and some bacon rolls.
Glyn Hughes served in the Royal Navy for 18 years and is now a pastoral worker for Aggies. He's here to offer support for the issues service people can face.
Homesickness, separation from wives, girlfriends, ageism used to be a big thing, where an older guy would join the Navy, so he'd find himself or herself amongst 17, 18-year-old kids, if you like, and it was difficult for them.
He's one of 21 pastoral workers across 15 different bases nationwide.
Pastoral care is all about listening to people, encouraging them, supporting them, providing practical help where it's required.
Aggies also runs a number of projects, one of which is Storybook Waves, where parents about to go to sea can record a book for their children to listen to while they're away.
I love you all the way down the lane as far as the river, cried little nut brown hare.
You do sergeants. Ready?
In married quarters nearby, Lee O'Sullivan is back from an 8-month deployment on HMS Middleton. He recorded a story for his children while he was away.
Basically, the welfare committee came on board ship and they managed to let us know that there was this going on, and I thought it'd be a really good opportunity for my children to have a little bit of me at home when I'm away.
Hello, James, Spencer and Georgia. It's Daddy. I know this is your favourite story, and I'm sorry I'm not here to read it to you in person.
So what's it like for Mum and 6-year-old James when they hear Lee's voice?
I was very impressed with how well my husband read it, and the kids were just a bit mesmerised, really. And I think at the end of it, as well as being happy that they could hear my husband, it made them feel a little bit sad.
And how about you?
And me.
Now Dad Lee has told his colleagues to give it a go.
I'm the coxswain on board, so I have a lot of input with the junior rates, so I managed to get a lot of them who had families, and I knew they had families, to actually try it out and do it, because it brings the whole family together.
It's one way to bring those far away a little bit closer to home.
If you'd like to go to our website, you will be able to see more about what we do, how you can be involved, and how you can support us. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy the rest of the festival.
Is full of stars as cartridges in the tray. My blood is a twin brand scarlet tree, and it runs away. All cooks to the galley is sounded off, and the lads are down in the mess. But I lie down by the forward gun, with a bullet all in my breast. Don't send me a parcel at Christmas time, all socks and nutty and wine. And don't depend on a long weekend by the Great Western Railway line. So farewell, Aggie the barracks at Guz, hang my tiddly suit on the door. I'm sewn up neat in a canvas sheet, and I'll never be home no more.
I remember when I was on the Royal Naval Trials team, and when I was a young man with not much money for 12 and sixpence, you could spend the night in a Royal Sailor's Rest. Unfortunately, all the ladies were a bit rough, so we didn't really bother about that. But Aggie was a name in the Navy, and this lady is sent me a lovely birthday card. Thank you very much indeed. I wouldn't dream of telling you how old I was. Anyway,
82.
Anyway, there you go. This lady wrote to me and said, do you fancy doing something for Dame Agnes Weston? There's lots to read about Dame Agnes Weston if you want to have a look online. It's very interesting, really. There's a great book called My Life Among the Bluecoats, and she looked after sailors all the way around this country, and towards the end of the Royal Sailors' Rest, she looked after them in Singapore as well. And great lodges in Singapore, and many happy hours spent to sailors. No alcohol, I might add. One thing I never quite got my head round was the staff at Agnes Weston's couldn't stand the Salvation Army. And the Salvation Army had a rock and roll band called the Joystrings. Well, Dame Agnes Weston's crew could not stand the Joystrings, all right? But there's lots and lots to read about her. And this lady down here, she said, would you consider supporting us on a lifelong quest of us to do something, the Aggie Weston story? So that's what we're going to do, if you'd all like to come along at some time or other. I thought I would tell you. And she added a verse to this. I'm sorry she didn't give you a copy, so you can't butt in. Oh, a drop of Nelson's blood wouldn't do us any harm. A drop of Nelson's blood wouldn't do us any harm. A drop of Nelson's blood wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. And a night with the girls wouldn't do us any harm. Wouldn't do us any harm. A night with the girls wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. And an all night in wouldn't do us any harm. An all night in wouldn't do us any harm. An all night in wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. And a night in Portsmouth Town wouldn't do us any harm. A night in Portsmouth Town wouldn't do us any harm. A night in Portsmouth Town wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. And a drop of tea and cake wouldn't do us any harm. A drop of tea and cake wouldn't do us any harm. A drop of tea and cake wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. On the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind.
Hello. Here is a well-known nautical poem. It is called Sea Fever by John Masefield, who himself was a seaman. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And the wheels kick and the wind song and the white sails shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call, and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying, and the flung spray, and the blown spume, and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and a quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over. Now, Nobby Hall by Cyril Tawney. Now, Cyril is well known for his folk writing songs, and he too was a seaman. I also want to explain a couple of little abbreviations first. OD, Ordinary Seaman. CTC, carbon tetrachloride that they used for cleaning their suits. RNBT, Royal Naval Benevolent Trust. Here goes. Nobby Hall. Nobby Hall, the young OD, cleaned his suit in CTC. He hung it in the mess to dry. His oppo lay asleep nearby. And all night long the fumes arose and drifted up his oppo's nose. When the shaker's voice was heard, there was one that did not stir. Nobby wept and wailed no end, to think that he'd killed his best friend. The funeral was a grand affair. The RNBT rep was there. So sailors, please, be ruled by me. If you clean your suit in CTC, always take the greatest care to hang it in the open air. But much better, if you can, hang it by a wardroom fan.
Thanks out to Chris for telling us what Aggie Westerns does today, to Jim Causley and Shep Wally for their songs, and to Maureen Shaw for her poems. Don't forget, if you'd like to make a donation to Aggie Westerns charity, just go to their website www.aggies.org.uk. Just click on the donate button at the top of the page. Simples. Now, in that last section, mention was made of one of the most popular services provided by Aggie Westerns. That's the Storybook Waves initiative. This enables serving sailors who are away from home to record a bedtime story for their children. Now, Aggies also transmits regular online stories, and we thought it'd be fun to hear one of these. This is a story about Baby Bear's trip to the moon. Ooh, who doesn't love a good story? And we'll then hear some more memories of Aggies from Maureen Forster, followed by a couple of poems from Maureen Shaw, and then finish off this section with some songs from Gwith. Now, you might recognise there's some strange chap in Gwith with a blue beard. singing with them. No idea who he is. Anyway, enjoy.
Whoosh. Tired with all that flying. Hi kids. Hi parents. It's Nicola. Yes, it's Nicola in a box with a colander on her head. If you'd have told me I were going to do this before lockdown, I wouldn't have believed you. Tonight we're going to read Whatever Next by Jill Murphy. Okay, are you ready? Okay. Can I go to the moon? Asked Baby Bear. No, you can't, said Mrs. Bear. It's bath time. Anyway, you'd have to find a rocket first. Baby Bear found a rocket in the cupboard under the stairs. See? He found a space helmet on the draining board in the kitchen and a pair of space boots on the mat by the front door. He packed his teddy, so I better put mine in too, and some food for the journey, and took off up the chimney. Whoosh! Out into the night. Can you see him? Whoa! Whoosh! An owl flew past. That's a smart rocket, he said. Where are you off to? The moon, said Baby Bear. Would you like to come too? Yes, please, said the owl. An aeroplane roared out of the clouds. Baby Bear waved, and some of the passengers waved back. On and on they flew, up and up above the clouds, past millions of stars, until at last they landed on the moon. There's nobody here, said Baby Bear. There are no trees, said the owl. It's a bit boring, said Baby Bear. Shall we have a picnic? What a good idea, said the owl. When they finished their picnic, Baby Bear said, we'd better go. My bath must be ready by now. So off they went, down and down. The owl got out and flew away. Goodbye, he said. It was really nice to meet you. It rained, and the rain dripped through Baby Bear's helmet. Home went Baby Bear, back down the chimney, onto the living room carpet with a bump. See, there he is. Oh, he'd had a little adventure, hadn't he? Mrs. Bear came into the room. Look at the state of you, she gasped as she led him away to the bathroom. Why, you look as if you've been up the chimney. As a matter of fact, said Baby Bear, I have been up the chimney. I found a rocket and went to visit the moon. Mrs. Bear laughed. You and your stories, she said.
Whatever next?
My name is Maureen Forster, and I was part of the extended Royal Navy family from the age of 17. Aggie Weston was known to me mainly through the nickname of Aggie Walker, my friends Bob and Helen's mum. It was 1992 that I discovered more when I turned up for Sunday tea at the Royal Sailors' Rest in Gosport. With 2 small children and a husband at sea, it was a relief to talk to other adults in a compassionate environment and, of course, enjoy the tea and cake. I met several centre managers, pastoral workers over the years, including Alan and Kate, Jill Don, and finally John and Helen Goran. Over the years, I worked in the Anchor Playgroup, Aggies Creche, and finally as a tutor assessor for St Vincent College Outreach Centre, who rented classrooms and an office there. In order to work on the slight feeling of us and them, we devised a project for a Save the Children fundraiser in November 2007, involving everyone who used the Royal Sailors' Rest. Due to Aggies rules, we had to avoid alcohol and gambling, so raffles and lucky dips were not permitted. However, we persuaded John to run an auction of donated prizes, and he rose to the occasion with a dinner suit and bow tie, quite a revelation to us as we were used to seeing him wearing cycling shorts and t-shirts. It was good to see so many people in the coffee lounge that day, and the event raised a decent sum for children in need. The event was videoed and photographed by a media student from St Vincent College, and the video was available on the RSR website for some time, so must have met the seal of approval of Aggie's charity. There were subsequently other projects such as the Playtex Moonwalk on the night after Pompey won the Cup, and we had inadvertently decorated our bras in blue and gold. So Colin Farmery, Deputy Principal of St Vincent, decided we were supporting Pompey as well as the cancer charity. A cold and embarrassing photo shoot next to the Anchor in the courtyard at St Vincent ensued before we started work. And unfortunately, just as the students were arriving, including my 17-year-old son, who must have been horrified. It was a very sad time when the funding was pulled on our outreach centre by St Vincent College, which coincided with the last days of the Royal Sailors' Rest Gosport in summer 2010. We diverted ourselves with wacky events such as a sleepover in the coffee lounge for adults. Several of us have pulled photos of the last days of the RSR, although there are many more photos out there. Some of these go back to the 1990s when Jill Don was manager, and very popular she was too. Also Josie, the amazing lady who rocked many a crying baby to sleep, including my daughter. Fortunate that we did take photos because not long after the building was evacuated, it caught fire and was razed to the ground. John Goran lent me his copy of My Life Amongst the Blue Jackets written by Aggie Weston, and I became very interested in this lady and all that she achieved in her life. I managed to find several second-hand copies of books, including one of her own, books printed in 1913 and presented to Mrs. Burdett Coots with kind regard from Agnes Weston. I also obtained a small copy of the New Testament, which Aggie Weston had given to her boys, with a handwritten message inside the front cover saying that the recipient was to sign the statement, saying they would carry it with them always and read it through at least once. So I have both happy and sad memories and many lasting friendships, thanks to Aggie Weston and the Royal Sailors' Rest. I'm so pleased to be part of the event to remember this lady on her birthday, 26th of March. Lockdown 2021 has provided the perfect opportunity for a virtual Aggie Fest, a truly permanent tribute, accessible to all and available indefinitely on YouTube.
This poem, O Captain, My Captain, was written by Walt Whitman. Now, Walt was an American poet, and he, like Aggie Weston, was keen on temperance and didn't touch alcohol until he was 30. His poem is actually a metaphor poem on the death of Abraham Lincoln in 1865. Oh, Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every wrack. The prize we sought is won. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people all exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. But oh, heart, 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 oh, the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold and dead. Oh, Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills, for you bouquets and ribboned wreaths, for you the shores are crowding, for you they call, the swaying mass, their eager faces turning. Here, Captain, dear father, this arm beneath your head. It is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and dead. My captain does not answer. His lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm. He has no pulse nor will. The ship is anchored safe and sound, its voyage closed and done. From fearful trip the victor ship comes in with object won. Exult, O shores, and ring, O bells! But I, with mournful tread, walk the deck my captain lies, fallen cold and dead. And now this leads on quietly to the final poem, Requiem, by Robert Louis Stevenson. Stevenson was a Scottish novelist and poet and travel writer, and he wrote his own epitaph in 1880, and he is buried, it is written, on his tombstone in Samoa. Under the wide and starry sky, dig the grave and let me lie. Glad did I live and gladly die, and I laid me down with a will. This be the verse you grave for me. Here he lies where he longed to be. Home is the sailor, home from sea, and the hunter home from the hill.
Skippers in the wardroom drinking gin.
Hi-ho, chicken on a raft.
I don't mind knocking, but I ain't going in.
Hi-ho, chicken on a raft.
Jimmy's laughing like a drain.
Hi-ho, chicken on a raft.
Been looking at the comic cuts again.
Hi-ho, chicken on a raft. Right, chicken on a raft on a Monday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see. Decked out forward on a dustman's off. Sitting there picking on a chicken on a raft, hey yo.
Chicken on a raft,
oh whoa.
Chicken on a raft,
hey yo.
Chicken on a raft,
oh whoa.
Chicken on a raft.
Hey, game in the middle and the forenoon too.
Hi-yo, chicken on a raft.
And now I'm pulling in the whaler's crew.
Hi-yo, chicken on a raft.
Seagulls wheeling overhead.
Hi-yo, chicken on a raft.
I ought to be sleeping in a feather bed.
Hi-yo, chicken on a raft. Right, chicken on a raft on a Monday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see.
Decked out forward and the dustman's off.
Sitting there picking on a chicken on a raft. Hi-yo. Chicken on a raft. Oh, whoa. Chicken on a raft. Hey-ho. Chicken on a raft. Oh, whoa. Chicken on a raft. I had a little girl in Donny B. Hi-yo. Chicken on a raft. And did she make a fool of me? Hi-yo. Chicken on a raft. Her heart was like a passer's shower. Hi-yo. Chicken on a raft. From hot to cold in a quarter of an hour. Hi-yo. Chicken on a raft. Right. Chicken on a raft on a Monday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see. Tapped up forward and the dustman's off. Sitting there picking on a chicken on a raft. Hey-ho. Chicken on a raft. Oh, whoa. Chicken on a raft. Hey-ho. Chicken on a raft. Oh, whoa. Chicken on a raft. We kissed goodbye on the midnight bus. Hi-ho. Chicken on a raft. She didn't cry, she didn't fuss. Hi-ho. Chicken on a raft. Am I the man that Sheila's best? Hi-ho. Chicken on a raft. Or am I a cuckoo in another man's nest? Hi-ho. Chicken on a raft. Right. Chicken on a raft on a Monday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see. Tractor forward and a dustman's off. Sitting there picking on a chicken on a raft. Hey-yo. Chicken on a raft. Oh, whoa. Chicken on a raft. Hey-yo. Chicken on a raft. Oh, whoa. Chicken on a raft. An Amazon girl lives in Dumfries. Hi-yo. Chicken on a raft. She only has kids in 2s and 3s. Hi-yo. Chicken on a raft. Her sister lives in Maryhill. Hi-yo. Chicken on a raft. She says she won't, but I think she will. Hi-yo, chicken on a raft, right, chicken on a raft on a Monday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see. Captain's forward and a dustman's off. Sitting there picking on a chicken on a raft. Hey-ho, chicken on a raft. Oh, whoa, chicken on a raft. Hey-ho, chicken on a raft. Oh, whoa, chicken on a raft. One morning in the month of June, down by a rolling river, there a jolly maiden chanced to stray, and he beheld some lover. Her cheeks were red, her eyes were brown, her hair in ringlets hanging down, her lovely brow without a frown, just as the tide was flowing. My pretty maid, to her he said, how come you here so early? For my heart by you it is betrayed, and I might love you dearly. For I am a sailor come from sea, and if you will accept my company, for to walk and watch the fishes play, just as the tide was flowing. No more did stay, but on their way they both did gang together. The small birds sang and the lambs did play, and pleasant was the weather. They being weary, they both sat down beneath the tree with the branches round. Ah, but what they said will never be known, just as the tide was flowing. Upon the grass she then did roll, her colour it ran changing. This pretty maid called out, alas, don't let your mind be
Stay and meet me when you will, there's more. For a jolly sailor I adore, just as the tide was flowing. So they kissed, shook hands, and then did part. Jack Tar drank rum and brandy, and to keep his shipmates in good cheer, the ladies' gold come handy. Then it's with some other young girl I'll go to a public bar where the brandy flows. Ah, give me the maid that will do so, just as the tide was flowing. Probably gets in your way when you're out sailing, the floating bridge. Now heave her up and sail with me, I-oh, the floating bridge, as we journey across the raging deep. All together on the floating bridge, the captain doth his a vigil keep. I-oh, the floating bridge, as we journey across the raging deep. All together on the floating bridge, he stands with his spyglass in his hands. I-oh, the floating bridge, 'cause now we're 30 yards from land. All together on the floating bridge, around Cape Horn through frost and snow. I-oh, the floating bridge, thank God that's a place we never go. All together on the floating bridge, the crowds that are standing shout, hooray! I-oh, the floating bridge, then they all go back the other way. All together on the floating bridge, the council ought to bridge that gap. I-oh, the floating bridge, and sell that bloomin' thing for scrap. All together on the floating bridge, but here's the worst of all our fears. I-oh, the floating bridge, we'll still be sailing in 100 years. All together on the floating bridge. Thank you.
Lovely stuff. Thanks, Ed and Nicola, for the story. Thought you looked very fetching with that colander on your head. To Maureen Forster for her memories, Maureen Shaw for her poems, and Gwith for the singing. Now we're getting near to the end of our online Aggie Fest. Coming up in our last section, we have some more memories of Aggies from Bob Walker and Mel Dixon, followed by some excellent music from the J.C. Grimshaw Family Band.
Well, hello Sid, and hello to the Aggie Weston's celebration team. Sid called me, Maureen, as you all know her, to see if I could just give a quick introduction into why my mum was nicknamed Aggie after Aggie Weston. So my name is Rob Walker, and Sid and I go back more years than probably either of us care to remember. But let's just say that in the 1970s, early 70s, in fact, I joined the Navy, and that's kind of how I met Sid. I was in an apprentice course, and her partner, later to be husband, Les, was in an adjacent course, and we became friends. And Sid was studying medicine at Leeds, and I came from Sheffield. Now, the story goes back even before I joined the Navy, because I had a habit of persuading stray animals to come home with me. I have to say cats and dogs, just to clarify that. And my mum used to take sympathy on me, and she'd care for these strays that I would bring in, and then the next morning I would get up and the strays had been repatriated with wherever they came from. But having graduated with pets, I then graduated to sailors, and it was it was a big coincidence, I guess, that in the apprentice courses that I was on, there was an uncommon number of other Navy apprentices who also came from Sheffield. So we kind of formed a bit of a social group in those days. We're now talking about 1970, 71. And we'd all just got our driving licenses. We had, cars. So we would, every weekend, we would drive from Fareham, which was HMS Collingwood, the apprentice training camp. And we'd drive to Sheffield. And typically on a Saturday night, we would meet up in the town centre. We'd have a good night out, maybe go into some nightclubs. Sid at this point was at Leeds University, as I said, doing medicine. So Les would drive up and he'd go straight to Leeds and meet up with Sid. But more often than not, we would all congregate in Sheffield. And, I'm thinking there was probably about 6 or 7 of us that came from the surrounding Sheffield area. And those that didn't have cars used to share lifts. And this went on for quite a few years. So it got to the point when others that didn't come from Sheffield thought this was pretty cool. This gang of Yorkshire lads getting together on a Saturday night, and they started to arrive as well. So, cut a long story short, there was a lot of sailors descending on Sheffield pretty much every week, and I did the usual thing and corralled the stray sailors together and took them home. And my mum would cook for them. She'd find them bedding, and and it became a real good social thing. Not surprisingly, she got called Aggie off the back of Aggie Westerns in those days, purely because she was picking my stray sailors and looking after them. I suppose the final story really is that we obviously got older, and I got married. I got married to Liz, and we had a great wedding. Sid was there, Les was there, and all the usual gang. But on this occasion, I'd found a stray South African sailor. Well, actually, it was one of us on the course, and it was over Christmas. We got married on December the 21st, and so he decided not to go home for Christmas. And he came and stayed at my mum's house over Christmas. Liz and I went off on honeymoon for about 2 weeks. And when we came back from honeymoon, expecting to descend on my mum's house, the house was still full, typically of South African sailors that had stayed there over the Christmas period. And they didn't go home. So she was well known for her hospitality, as was Aggie Weston, and not surprisingly, the nickname for my mum, who was Cynthia Walker, got called Aggie for many, many years. And as Sid will lovingly remember today, I think she's always referred in conversations as Aggie. It was always, "How is Aggie doing?" And anyway, Sid wanted to share that story with you, and I agree, and I hope it fits in with all your thoughts and memories and celebration for Aggie Weston. So all the best, have a great time, and I'll catch up with Sid soon and see how you all get on. Anyway, bye-bye.
Kia ora, and hello from New Zealand. A couple of years ago, a friend who knew I had written a few poems in the past contacted me to ask if I would write about Aggie Weston and the Royal Sailor's Rest. Being asked to write this poem prompted many childhood memories of mine, as when I was a child I was fortunate enough to live in Singapore and regularly visited the Royal Sailor's Rests there, mainly using the swimming pool facilities, although I can also recall movie nights and the children's Christmas party there too. But my link to Aggie Weston's goes back to 1960, when my dad, who was serving in the Royal Navy, met my mum, who was there in the Air Force. They met on a beach in Penang, and some of their first dates, I believe, were at Aggie Weston's. 10 years later, with 3 children in tow, my parents returned to Singapore, and we visited many of the places my parents visited when they were first together. I can vividly recall the Maori performers from the New Zealand Navy singing and doing the haka at the time when the New Zealand Navy took over HMS Terror from the British Navy. In fact, it was partly because of being in Singapore at that time But several decades later, I moved to New Zealand with my ex-husband, who was also in the Navy, and transferred to the New Zealand Navy from the Royal Navy. Got a few photos that I've not been able to take out of their photo album, but I'm hoping that you can see them. So this is my father from HMS Terror with people there. So there's quite a group of people there at the time. The next one I want to show you is as children at the swimming pool. There were some pictures of us children at the swimming pool. And finally there's one which was, as I say, recollections from watching the Maori performers. It's not a very good image from way back in 1970. So in writing this poem about Aggie Weston, I feel very privileged to have had personal experiences of her legacy, which is the Royal Sailor's Rest, and I hope you like my poem. It's called Aggie Weston, the Sailor's Friend. The mother of the Navy was a pen pal at the start. Homesick sailors needing friendship quickly took her to their heart. Aggie Weston wrote to many, but soon it was too much. So ashore and afloat became the note to help them keep in touch. Sailors based in Devonport needed drink-free R&R, a place to stay and meet with friends that wasn't just a bar. So Aggie found a place to go, a house for sailors' rest, a safe and drink-free venue which proved to be the best. Sophia Wynns and Aggie became the perfect team. Establishing more sailors' rests became their lifelong dream. A sanctuary for those on leave, supporting families too. The Sailors' Rest, a place of peace for officers and crew. Committed to her mission, teaching abstinence from drink, Aggie pledged to help the mariners, saving families from the brink. With tickets sold for transport home, not spent outside the gate, seafarers headed home on leave and families did not wait. Aggie was a leader seeking out the next great thing. Offering Christian love to all, home comfort she would bring. Soon Queen Victoria became a fan and Aggie made a dame. The Royal Sailors' Rest became her legacy's full name. Aggie's story is inspiring. Her vision thrives today. The focus now on pastoral care, helping is their way. A friendly face to listen, advice and comfort shared. Encouragement for those who need when feeling lost or scared. The mother of the Navy, with a heart so full of love, still watches over sailors and their families from above. How proud she would be knowing that her charity survives and makes a difference to this day to oh so many lives. I hope you enjoyed that. Take care. Bye.
It's been a long time undertaking this trip that I am making. Hopes that have long been buried have risen up again. Now this letter I was receiving has got this heart believing the love that once was lost may just have washed up on the shore. So take me home, bosun, for I've been feeling lonesome, and the cargo that I harbor still bears down heavy on my heart. Tell the captain not to tarry, but get us safe to the other side. There's a girl I long to marry, if she will be my bride. Aggiefest dropped me. At this station, I took the train down to the port. And arrivals and departures kind of sums up all of my thoughts. I've spent a long time in the shadows, and I've ducked and I've dodged the gallows. But here I walk the gangplank, but tasting sea salt on the breeze. But take me home, bosun, for I've been feeling lonesome. The cargo that I harbor still bears down heavy on my heart. Tell the captain not to tarry, but get us safe to the other side. There's a girl I long to marry, if she will be my bride. Here we go, come on. I've made the best of situations. I've caught up with old relations, long gone friends and jokers, and I've had dead-end jobs alike. But for all the times that I've felt lonesome, why, they've gone within a trice. And I'm feeling home, sweet homesome. It's just the lost and the found of life. So take me home, bosun, for I've been feeling lonesome. And the cargo that I harbor still bears down heavy on my heart. Tell the captain not to tarry, but get us safe to the other side. There's a girl I long to marry, if she will be my bride.
Well, that's Aggiefest 2021 done and dusted. I do hope you've enjoyed the evening and our celebration of the life and works of Dame Aggie Weston. And hopefully for Aggiefest 2022, we'll be able to do it all in person. All that remains to do for me, Johnny Bluebeard, is to now say thank you for listening and thank you to everyone who contributed to the evening. I'd particularly like to say thanks to Maureen Forster for being the inspiration behind the event and to John Hacker for being the technical whiz who spent many hours putting the show together. I want now to briefly hand back to Chris New from Aggie Weston's for a few final words, and then we'll wrap up the evening with one last song from Jim Corsley. And don't forget, if you'd like to make a donation to Aggie Weston's charity, just go to the website www.aggies.org.uk, click on the donate button at the top of the homepage. But for now, I'll hand you back to Chris.
I do hope that you've all enjoyed Aggiefest 2021. A huge thank you to all those who performed and contributed, and also a huge thank you to those who put this event together. And finally, a huge thank you to all of you who have joined online today. I hope that you've enjoyed learning something about Aggie Weston, her character and her background, and also that you've enjoyed learning something about the charity which bears her name and continues to support the Royal Navy and all its people. Please do visit our website, see how you can get involved, how you can support us, and I hope that in years to come we will meet face to face at a future Aggiefest. Thank you very much and goodbye.
All last week I've worked and toiled, done my best without respite. Now I put all that behind me, all my troubles out of sight. I've been waiting since last Monday just to be with you tonight, just to join my voice with yours and sing a song with all our might. Who needs fame, who needs fortune, and who needs a life of ease? I'm the richest in the country when I'm blessed with friends like these. So, landlord, bring another round, set 'em up in 2s and 3s. Come again when these are empty, till we buckle at the knees. Let our ears be filled with music, just as they are filled with ale. Let this evening never end, let our voices never fail. Who needs fame, who needs fortune, and who needs a life of ease? I'm the richest in the country when I'm blessed with friends like these. So sing of joy and sing of sorrow, sing of love and bloody wars. And as we sing we're all transported down some minor to distant shores. Some sing high, some sing low, some sing sensitive and sweet. But when we all join in chorus, they can hear us down the street. Who needs fame, who needs fortune, and who needs a life of ease? I'm the richest in the country when I'm blessed with friends like these. And one day, if we should part, we should meet no more again. Friday nights, let's raise our glasses. Are you raising your glasses? Woo! Friday nights, let's raise our glasses to the health of absent friends. Absent friends! And if angels take you with them and the devil claims my soul, we'll still harmonize together with you above and me below. Singing, who needs fame, who needs fortune, and who needs a life of ease? I'm the richest in the country when I'm blessed with friends like me. Who needs fame and who needs fortune?
we should meet no more again. Monday nights, let's raise our glasses to the health of absent friends. And if angels take you with them and the devil claims my soul, we'll still harmonize together, you above and me below. Who needs fame and who needs fortune and who needs a life of ease? I'm the richest in the country when I'm blessed with friends like